Hi, friend. I'm Stephanie McKeith, and this is Cancer Coach Chat. The intention of this show is actually to help you heal. My goal is to provide you with the accountability and the information and to guide you through the resources you need in order to do that. I've done the research on the major areas of confusion to help you eliminate the clutter and stay on your recovery track. And what we're going to chat about today actually is the stress or anxiety of trying to get through this healing process. Just the thought of all of the things to do can lead to anxiety. And let's be clear on what anxiety is. It is stress over an extended period of time. So when you are constantly stressed day in and day out over what you should be doing, what you could be doing, what you aren't sure of what you should be doing, that leads to anxiety. And what I've learned to teach is to make everyone understand that we have to look at the bigger picture here and divide it up into these small, bite-sized tasks. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Rather than taking this big picture of looking at healing as a whole, going into remission, changing your entire lifestyle, your habits, everything. We're going to look at all of the little pieces that eventually lead to that feeling better portion and getting rid of the cancer diagnosis as a whole. So these small steps may feel insignificant at first, but over time, the accumulation of these small steps lead to these big changes. They form habits that become routine. And the beauty of incorporating new habits is that they cue others. So when you start with one small habit change leads to another small habit change. And when you add them all up together, you have all of these big changes. And what I mean by incorporating one new habit, cueing another new habit, is that as you start to do healthier things and they feel good and you realize that they make you feel good, it's much easier to do other healthier things that make you feel even better. And this creates a domino effect. When you do one thing that leads to another, that leads to another, it's like a domino hitting the next and tripping the rest to fall right behind them one by one until they're all knocked down in their own time due to the positioning of the design. So it's very important to position all of these habits strategically and structured so that they're intentionally falling and hitting one another. And what I mean by that is haphazardly trying to throw in detoxification, supplements, vitamins, herbs, new bedtime routines, new wake up habit routines can get confusing and become overwhelming and may not mesh well if you don't put them in a structured order. Okay. So the dominoes follow a very structured knockdown. You don't knock one down at the starting line and then way over there, 10 feet over, the next one falls. It hits one right after another. And the habits do the same thing when we're talking about a cancer recovery program. It's a strategic placement of each habit that initiates the next one. You won't be able to do one treatment or one therapy and find yourself cancer free. It does not work that way. There is a harmony in a suite of natural and supportive therapies that are instilling life back into your diseased body. And there's no other way to say it. Once you get sick, there's a lot of things going on in your systems that have made you toxic and unwell. And it takes time, effort, energy, and resources, whether that be financial or something you might have on hand or access to reverse that. We aren't using dominoes in my recovery program, but we are using things like juicing, teas, herbals, homeopathic supplements, coffee enemas, emotional timeline healing, theta living recovery for your emotions, sauna routines, all things like that. And we add them in one by one so that they're lined up to build that same momentum that the dominoes do. We intentionally plan so there's significantly less room for confusion. The whole intention of me and having me guide you through this journey or this chapter of your life through cancer recovery is to take the stress and the confusion out of what should I be doing? What could I be doing? Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the wrong thing? If you don't plan it out, it won't happen. You will never find time. You have to make it. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to keep you accountable, to make sure that you're making the time, to make sure that you're on task and on point on the right path for you. It also allows you to make sure that you're not just spending time every day doing the treatments and the therapies to overcome cancer, but we have to intentionally build in time to enjoy your life too. So all of those hobbies and relationships give you the opportunity to keep the flow moving. Without this, the recovery phase of cancer seems just daunting and becomes stressful, and we may resent that. And that's not something I want for you. I don't want you to resent this. If you resent your treatment or your therapies or your healing plan, it won't work for you because your cells will respond with that same friction or angst that you have against all of the things that you're doing. Nobody wants to spend their entire day chasing cancer or chasing the healing of cancer. We all want to experience the joys in life and heal cancer at the same time. This is possible when you use intention and break down the overwhelming idea of healing cancer. Remember, the overall idea of healing cancer is huge, and it seems like the equivalent of building a house. That's just so huge of an idea. But when you break it down to the HVAC, the foundation, the plumbing, the walls, the paint, the carpet or hardwood floors, the kitchen, the bathroom, and you break it down room by room, project by project, then the idea of this big house building project doesn't seem so overwhelming. For example, I use the analogy of building a house. Now let's go back to building your cancer recovery program. Take juicing, for instance. Most cancer heroes incorporate juicing into the recovery program, whether it be daily, several times a day, several times a week, or whatever. We all use nutrition to some degree as part of our healing. If it's new to you, or if you need to do it frequently, though, can become this thorn in your side once you start to think about what all juicing entails. What kind of juicer do I need? Where do I get it from? Is it going to be easy or hard to clean? What are the ingredients? Where do I get those from? She said organic. Where do I get organic? How much of them do I get? How much of them do I put in? How much juice do I make per day? Do I have to do it several times a day? Can I make several days worth in advance? Does everything need to be organic? The brain says, whoa, that is just too much. This is going to be so time consuming and it just seems too hard. And from there, what happens is that your brain wants to protect you from the stress and the struggle of trying something new. It wants the path of least resistance. But you are going to be busting this task up into manageable tasks, like step 1, get the juicer out. Step 2, get the recipe written down. Get your grocery list prepared. Step 3, make the list for your groceries for your next shopping trip. Step 4, bring the groceries home, wash the produce. Juice, wash the juicer, drink the juice. It doesn't seem so bad when you break that down and you plan ahead. This allows these emotions of anticipation to be set aside so that your brain can calm down and realize that you really are okay. And this is a doable action task because you are prepared and you are ready to take the step-by-step approach, small bite-sized pieces. If you follow this for any big task at hand, whether it be cancer recovery, building a house, or whatever your big task is, or you find yourself in needing in need of making some kind of change, if you take this these bite-sized small chunk piece approach and apply this technique, it makes it so much easier and allows you to be so much more successful at whatever it is that you're trying to change or implement. Okay. Um, this is a huge deal because for a cancer recovery program, there's a lot of pieces going on and they're all moving at the same time. And remember, I teach you to live in the and. So we are recovering from a cancer diagnosis, we're healing, and we're living our lives. We're finding the joy and the enjoyment of each and every single day. So you want to picture this big task, you break it down into sections, you set up these sections into a plan of action, then you get started. The first step is always the hardest step. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do. The first step of a big project is always the hardest. If you've made the decision to take responsibility of your healing process and still aren't sure what to do and what order to do it in, that's what I'm here for. I have a 3-month cancer coaching program that I've been using for over a decade called the Cancer Recovery Technique. Together, you and I create those small steps. We break the cancer recovery process down into small steps that we explore together on a weekly basis, and we implement these lessons and these action steps as the weeks go by. This is not a treatment plan, and it is by no means a substitution for treatment or seeking guidance from a physician. This is to coach you through the process of all of the things that cancer recovery requires, while reminding you to also live your life at the same time. Okay. So what happens is by the end of this program, you will have an individually designed blueprint of your daily tasks that you need to do in order to support your vision of healing from cancer. I take the stress out, I take the overwhelm and the confusion away and help you focus on the things that matter. I help you understand what you should be doing with your day from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. I answer all of those in between questions that you just don't get the time to ask your doctor or your specialist, and you may be not comfortable asking them anyways. So that's what this 3-month cancer recovery technique does. It allows us to work side by side so that you're never alone. For 12 weeks, we work together on a weekly basis. I help you uncover the necessary action steps that take a systematic approach to building this overall blueprint of your recovery. If there's any way that I can help you or answer a question, feel free to reach out to me. And if you are going through this cancer recovery process and you do happen to need help, I am honored to be part of this chapter of your life with you. And reach out. I look forward to hearing from you. Thanks.